Welcome back to episode 81 of Winning the Division. I am your host, Ryan Smith. My co-host alongside me, former NFL tight end Ben Troupe, played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tennessee Titans, and at the time, Oakland Raiders. Also a University of Florida tight end as well. Go Gators, Ben. Let's talk about NFL Week 16. Hard to believe just 2 weeks left in the season. It is going by pretty fast. This is winning the division, which means teams are about to win their divisions, and there are a lot of teams down there who are not winning their division.
It's gonna take every. It seems though it's gonna take every week to do it, Smitty. But I like the way it's shaping up. I mean, I think that there are teams that are very much contenders that have pretender type DNA running through their veins right now. I'll get to that when we get into some of these games, but some teams have peaked early. I'm gonna just say that I think certain teams have played some of their best football early, and I think certain teams are finding their identity towards these last two games, which is what you want. So, exciting football.
Yes, sir. Let's go with our players of the week, not players of the week. We start off as we every week we do here with this first segment. I'm going to go kind of off the beaten path, I think, according to most people. My not team of the week is the New York Jets. I know they're already bad, but 29-6 to the New Orleans Saints. Fired Steve Wilkes last week. I know they gave up Quentin Williams and Sauce Gardner at the trade deadline a month or so ago, but golly, I mean, you can't lose that badly to the New Orleans Saints, even if it is on the road. I know they're still rebuilding, and they have a lot not going for them, but you can't be. The Raiders did better this week than the Jets did. So the Jets are my not team of the week. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because it's the Jets. And then my team of the week is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, specifically Alex Highsmith, UNC Charlotte, my alma mater. Alex Highsmith, got to know him a little bit. He is one of my co-players of the week, but Pittsburgh Steelers specifically is my team of the week. 29-24 victory over the Detroit Lions. The fluky ending, not fluky, but weird ending where, you saw offensive pass interference, touchdown was good. The time had run out, so therefore there was no review and there was no replay. The game was over. But shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers for punching the Detroit Lions in the mouth in the dome, and they still got it done. They're on the road. 9-6, Mike Tomlin's crew is now, and they just keep on doing their thing. So Alex Highsmith and that Pittsburgh Steelers defense is my team of the week. And then my player of the week, Ben, kind of along with Alex Highsmith because he did really well for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me Trevor Lawrence, 23-36, 3 touchdowns, 279 yards passing in Denver, going home with a dub, 34-20 over the Denver Broncos to improve to 11-4 on the year. We'll talk more about those players when we get to some of the games, but those are my players and not players of the week.
My player of the week is the same as yours, Trevor Lawrence. Not just for what he did this week. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has 10 touchdowns, no interceptions in the last 2 games. That's what he's done. In the last 2 games, he's putting up those type of numbers. Cam Ward, I mean, simply because they got to win. I mean, this late in the season, still trying to figure things out. No head coach, no identity, no culture. I mean, no foundation at all. They found a way to get a big win against this Kansas City team that's really just trying to, get ready to go to Cancun. 2 other guys is my players of the week. One, Chris Olave. Not because they won, but because Chris Olave, went over 1,000 yards. It's hard to do that on the bad. To be a good player on a bad team is hard to do because it looked like you just padding your stats, and it's not. He was, and by prayer to Chris Olave, who said he threatened to. He said I was thinking about retiring in 2024. Like things that got real bad for him, but he said, God showed him something different, and they saw. Listen, to find Christ is always a good thing. I'm happy that he did it. And I know you're not going to do it, Smitty, but Bryce Young, I'm sorry. When the Panthers are first in the division, and this hasn't happened since the 2015 season, I keep saying this about Bryce Young. Bryce Young doesn't get enough praise when he wins because he gets way too much criticism when he loses. When they lose, he gets way too much criticism. And this is 2 former number 1 overall picks. The guy on the other side, didn't he used to play I thought he played for the Panthers, didn't he? Yep. And one Baker Mayfield. Which gets me to my not teams of the week. That would be the Bucks, right? And that would be the freaking Denver Broncos. Denver. Like y'all supposed to have the competitive advantage. You got an East Coast team coming to kind of the West Coast, even though Denver ain't on the West Coast. You got a hot weather team coming to a cold weather city, and the hot weather team looked like the cold weather team. They dominated. I mean, and I'm also throw the Packers in there too. Sorry, and throw the Packers in there too. So the Packers, the Bucks, and and the Broncos are my not teams. My not player of the week is DK Metcalf. What?
I wasn't going to do it that obviously, but yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
There are things. Let me say this. Do I think because a fan paid a ticket, they get to say whatever they want? Yes and no. Yes, they can, but no, they can't. There are ways to deal with stuff, DK. Like, DK Metcalf needs anger management ASAP. This kind of stuff happened in Seattle. You see the kind of stuff. It's almost like you really grab somebody. And there's a bunch of reports coming out talking about what he said and how he said it, DK. Yeah, I know he got suspended 2 games because of it, but come on, dude. Like, really? I mean, for obvious reasons. But my other not player of the week is Baker Mayfield. I kept telling you, Smitty. See, everybody wants to talk about what Baker Mayfield does, but nobody really gets on him when he doesn't do it. And I'm telling you, Baker Mayfield forgets sometimes. Hey man, I know you came into a real nice culture, but you still gonna have to win. Because guess what the NFL has done? They have caught up. And once the NFL catches up, you're gonna have to show some new tricks. And shout out to Mike Tomlin, who's obviously again is gonna have a winning season. I think if I'm not mistaken, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had 22 straight winning seasons. And he's had to do with 18 of those, which is 18 to 19, which is crazy. But shout out to Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. Let's get to some of these games, Ben. As week 16 is wrapping up with Monday Night Football, 49ers Colts, as we are recording this, tied at 14 in the second quarter. They're on Monday Night Football. So do you have any thoughts on that game before we recap all
No, I mean, I think the fact that the 49ers, I think they clinched a playoff berth last night. Yes. And they're still trying to play meaningful football because I think that division is going to come. That division is crazy. I mean, them, the Rams, Seattle. So because Seattle beat the Rams, obviously they're number one in that division right now. So I think you're going to definitely have 3 teams coming out of that division with 2 wild cards and a division winner, and that's going to make it. That's going to mean that a lot of other teams either going to win their division or going to watch themselves because the NFC North. It might come down to just a division winner. I was looking right now with the NFC West, but Colts, Phillip Rivers. Hey, 44 years young. Let's see if he can get a win. Against the 49ers.
Yeah. 49ers play the Bears next week, which we'll do in this week 17 preview, top 5 games to watch. That's going to be on my top 5. I'm just letting you know now. 49ers Bears. It's going to be a really good game next week. But let's get to these games. We'll start with Thursday night where the Seattle Seahawks beat the LA Rams 38-37 in overtime to get a huge win and get their grip on the NFC West and potentially the number 1 overall seed. Matthew Stafford eclipsed 4,000 yards passing on his no-look pass to Puka Nacua, giving Stafford multiple touchdown passes in 9 straight games, the longest stretch of his career. But Ben, this game was simply won on the Rashid Shaheed punt return for a touchdown that make it an 8-point game. They got the 2-point conversion after the touchdown. If you had told me Sam Darnold throws his second pick of the night, third pick, whatever it was, 30-14 lead for the Rams, about to be the end of the third quarter, early fourth, whatever it was, I would have said, yep, it's a wrap. Nope. The Seahawks had different things to do. And they showed their fight and tenacity, and they came back, and I was impressed. Color me impressed.
If you are Matthew Stafford, I'm trying to look at this right. 29-49, 457 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and you lost. Puka Nacua, 12 catches, 225 yards. Puka Nacua is establishing himself as the top top two, top three receiver in the league when you talk about consistency. But let me tell you what makes this game crazy. As you mentioned, Sam Darnold did not have his best outing, but the team around him picked him up.
Yep.
And that's the thing about Seattle. They don't make it so that one guy. Yes, you got Jackson Smith. Yes, you got Sam Darnold, right? Yes, you got Kenneth Walker. Yes, you got Leonard Williams and Ernest Jones on defense. No, it's a team effort. And if you are the Rams, you thinking, dude, you don't blow leads in the NFL. You just can't do it. And they blew it. Call it what you want to call it. They blew it. And shout out to Seattle, who understands Coach McDonald is doing an incredible job in year 2, what he's establishing up there in Seattle. So great game, Smitty, but I just think that it came, like you said, it was more of a one team not capitalizing on mistakes and another team saying we ain't gonna die until there's no time left on the clock. So shout out to Seattle, but shout out to both teams for an incredible football game.
We'll power through this one pretty quickly, but just to say the Eagles get the win over the Commanders 29-18 to improve to 10-5 on the year, and they clinched the NFC East title for the second straight year, the first back-to-back NFC East champion since Philadelphia won 4 straight from 01 to 04, ending the longest non-repeat division winner streak in NFL history at 21 seasons.
All I'm going to say about this game is the Eagles are the Eagles, the Commanders are the Commanders. The real Saquon Barkley showed up to play. Saquon looked like Saquon 2024 in this game. And you knew that the Commanders, I mean, they're coming in the walking wound. They're just doing the best they can with what they had. They tried to have some fight, but the Eagles are a better team. The Eagles are the class of the NFC. They're the class of the NFC East. Shout out to the Eagles.
Shout out to the Bears, 22-16, the late night game on Saturday that saw the Bears win in overtime to get to 11-4 on the year. Packers lost Jordan Love to a concussion, lost Josh Jacobs, their running back. Romeo Doubs caught a late touchdown in that game to maybe get it to keep it. You thought it was going to be the winner, but no, in overtime, former Panther DJ Moore took care of business. A great throw by Caleb Williams. From the logo, the C, and their Soldier Field. Ben, NFL teams had lost 501 consecutive games prior to that Bears-Packers game when trailing by 10-plus points with under 2 minutes remaining.
This game was a revenge game in a lot of ways. You mentioned DJ Moore. DJ Moore got hit in the back by that same DB throughout the,
same guy, Nixon.
and got that redemption catch at the end of the game. The greatest thing I saw about that game was after the game, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, they had on cheese grater hats.
I saw that.
Saying, dude, that is beautiful. That is epic. And if you are Chicago,
that is next level sauciness.
It is. That is next level trolling. If you are Chicago, the Ben Johnson effect is real. Caleb Williams is buying what Ben Johnson is selling, taking what the defense giving him, showing off his magic when he needs to, not trying to play hero football, making plays when he has to, down by 10 points and against a team like Green Bay. But Chicago has proven themselves to be the class, of that NFC North, like I said. And Detroit is trending in the wrong direction. Minnesota, I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs. And dare I say right now, Green Bay, they could be on the outside looking in because, like I mentioned with that NFC West, you're going to have 3 teams probably coming out of the division with Seattle, 49ers and obviously the Rams. So Caleb Williams, I mean, he exercised some demons. It's only year 2. But when he walked through the tunnel, he said, look, man, look forward to a lot of this. I mean, it's going to be, we talked about, even though we talked about can Michael Penix Jr. and Bryce Young do their best, Matty Ice and Cam Newton impression. Can Jordan Love? And can Jordan Love and Green Bay and Caleb Williams and Chicago give us some of those great Chicago Green Bay games? But this was a great one, but it went to Chicago. Shout out to Chicago.
Let's get to the Sunday games now. We'll start with my Carolina Panthers, 23-20 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bryce Young, I'll just say a few things, particularly effective when targeting the outside numbers on Sunday. 10-16, 116 yards, both of his touchdown passes, while 17-21 against zone coverage for 118 yards. His 2 touchdown passes came against man coverage. But this was the 6th game-winning drive of the 2025 season for Bryce Young, his 12th overall in his career, the second most for any quarterback. Justin Herbert has 13 prior to age 25 since 1950. But, Ben, I'll just say the touchdown pass to Jatavian Sanders and number 0 for the Panthers, I don't know if you saw that one specifically, but there were a ton of people, much smarter than me, saying that touchdown pass from Bryce to Jatavian Sanders was the reason why the Panthers drafted Bryce Young number 1 overall. Something that type of pass, because he had to improvise the pocket. Vita Vea was basically staring down on him, and he had him in his grip, and then he escaped. And then I think Yaya Diaby as well kind of tackled him on the shoe. He got out of it and then threw the pass there to Sanders. And it's that's what he did at Alabama all the freaking time. And so that pass specifically to Sanders, I thought that wasn't the turning point in the game, but that was a big moment in the game where I'm like, okay, Bryce, you came to play today. This is the Bryce that Carolina fans want to see.
This game to me came down to one word: pressure. One team applied it, one team felt it. I think Bryce and company they applied pressure all game, and I think Baker Mayfield and company felt it. Emeka Egbuka had one catch. He had one catch. I mean, it was 40 yards, but it was one catch. I think what you can appreciate the most about this game was it was a back and forth affair. No team really wanted to just run away with it. But Bryce is at his best when the game was on the line. And if I guarantee you, Todd Bowles was like, look, don't put him in a situation where he got to go out there and win it, because he could do it. And if you are Carolina, something that Derek Brown said, a couple of weeks ago, he said, look, when they were also saying, we don't make things easy on ourselves. That's not the Panther way. But they still trust Bryce. I was happy for you guys, Smitty, for a lot of reasons. If you are the Bucs were like, dang, thank you. Thank you. Carolina said, thank you, Atlanta, for beating the Bucs to put us in first. And then the Bucs said, thank you, Carolina, for losing to the Saints to put us back in first. And then now the Bucs are saying, hey, who are we really? Because the Bucs were, quote, getting healthier, getting back Bucky Irving, you talking about, you know what I mean? And now they're saying, you're getting back Godwin, getting back Mike Evans. Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. But what you proved on Sunday is this: when my quarterback is better than your quarterback, it gives my team a better shot to win. Bryce was the better quarterback on Sunday. Period. And guess what? Bryce did what he did with no run game. Tampa Bay shut the run down. They shut Carolina's run down. But here's the thing. But think about it. They said, we don't think that he can beat us throwing the football. You better guess again. And I know y'all got to see him in 2 weeks, which is going to be epic. But for right now, I mean, you get to flex your muscle a little bit. Congratulations to the Bucs. I mean, congratulations to your Panthers for being number 1 in the division right now. And y'all got to win one of the next 2. Wow. Great place to be.
Carolina has improved to 8-7 on the year in that win, as I said. The Buffalo Bills took care of business in a feisty Cleveland Browns game, 23-20 in Cleveland. Buffalo now 11-4 on the year. It was Gregory Rousseau with 9 quarterback pressures and a season-high 2.5 sacks on 28 pass rushes, his highest in the game this season for the Buffalo Bills.
Gregory Rousseau was the player of the game. Everybody watching Cleveland for 2 reasons. One, Shedeur Sanders and Myles Garrett to see if he's going to break the record. I think he had a half a sack on Sunday. Gregory Rousseau was all over the field. He had Shedeur just seeing double, triple. That guy was all over the field. Harold Fanning Jr. is a do-it-all tight end as a rookie for Cleveland. This is one of those games that Cleveland had to show the world we still play competitive football. I know we Cleveland. I know y'all expect us to lose. We're not going to lay down. Really, really competitive game. Josh Allen took a beating that game. And obviously, yeah. So I give a lot of credit to Buffalo, Sean McDermott and company. They know that no one's going to care who gets knocked out the game, who's healthy. Keon Coleman was another healthy scratch. I really don't know if he's going to be a Buffalo Bill in 2026, Smitty, but great gutsy win by Buffalo. Great grit shown by a Cleveland Browns team because I think Shedeur Sanders proven that he can be the guy moving forward if they can indeed get him some help.
Let's go to the Chargers, who win 34-17, doubling up the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. They get to 11-4 on the year. The Chargers have now won each of their past 4 road games in Dallas, been 2001, 2009, 2017, and 2025. The last time the Cowboys defeated the Chargers in Dallas was 1990.
Wow. I'm just going to say this about this game. The Chargers did God's work. because they got him out of there. I don't want to hear anything else. You know how crazy it is to go into this game with Dallas Cowboys having a 1% chance to make the play. Who did that 1% chance
Well,
to make the
technically,
playoffs?
my co-host, I don't want to correct you, but technically Philadelphia eliminated the prior
Okay.
evening.
Well, maybe I'll be giving them too much love to X or whatever, but I think this Chargers team. I mean, the Chargers are 11-4, and they've done it quietly. Like no
Yes,
one's really talked about them the way they should, right? Derwin James and those guys on defense. You talk about, what Justin Herbert and company doing on offense. Amarion Hampton coming back healthy. I mean, he's definitely been a boost to the run game. Look out for the Chargers. I'm gonna say that because everybody kept saying Denver this and Denver that. No, it's been the Chargers. 11-4. I want to say they had back-to-back 11-win seasons under Harbaugh. You know they're going to be a hard-nosed team and not going to just they're going to beat you up. They're going to beat you up for 4 quarters. But yeah, they officially, even though the Eagles did, they officially got the Dallas Cowboys out of their misery. George Pickens came to play, but I think the Dallas Cowboys. We talk about them because they are the Cowboys, not because of what they're actually doing, but because they're the Cowboys. Biggest brand in football, might be the biggest brand in pro sports in America. Depending on how you look at it, but. This Chargers team, look out, Denver, because the Chargers have a shot to not only beat y'all, but win this whole division, and we'll see. Because I think they got a rock solid team: quarterback check, defense check, running game check, team check. So the better team won, and Dallas. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all already had y'all Cancun or y'all vacation plans already. Well, y'all the Cowboys. Come on, y'all. Oh, and to all the Cowboys fans out there, I already know. Wait till next year. I know. We know. Like when somebody, if you late to work, just say I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. What does it mean? That's my excuse. Oh, okay. I wasn't. Yeah, I ain't wake up late or nothing. I wasn't in traffic or anything. I'm just a Cowboys fan. That's my excuse. Okay, got it.
Won't spend too much time on this game. The Saints blow out the Jets 29-6. Both teams competing for a top 5 pick, top 7 pick, whatever. Taysom Hill, only player with 1,000 yards passing, rushing, and receiving in his career during the Super Bowl era. He joins Christian McCaffrey as the only player in the last 40 years with 35 plus passing, rushing, and receiving yards.
All right, listen. I'm just gonna say this: what the shuck is going on? I mean, they got their guy, right? They got their guy. Tyler Shuck is he's impressive to watch. He is. I mean, he seems to be a guy once again. He reminds me of like a Bryce Young. You can kind of see what the future can look like if you get him help. If you don't get him no help, it ain't gonna be much to talk about. And people saying that's all he needs. Yep. That means that the game don't fall on him. Now, if they lose, they're gonna blame him. But if they win, they're gonna give the praise to everybody other than him. But shout out to the I don't like giving love to the Saints, but them gold uniforms they had on, they just pulled them gold uniforms out. Might as well try to look good when the season comes to them. But shout out to Chris Olave for everything he's done since he's been a Saint.
The Vikings grind out a 16-13 win over the New York Football Giants. The Vikings defense pressuring Jackson Dart 9 of his 19 dropbacks in their win. They were the second team with 5 or more sacks on fewer than 10 pressures in a game this season. Justin Jefferson, shout out to him as well. He passes Jarvis Landry for the most receptions by any player in their first 6 seasons in NFL history.
Who was that? Who had the most?
Jarvis Landry previously.
Who passed him? You said
Justin Jefferson.
Okay, this Justin Jefferson. I mean, they couldn't keep him on the fantasy owners were like, thanks a lot, Justin Jefferson. I mean, you've been killing my league. But
to clarify, it was 564 receptions Jarvis Landry had, and Justin Jefferson has now 567. So through the first 6 seasons.
That's crazy. The Giants have a really, really good D-line. Really, really good D-line. Jackson Dart is not going to make it in the National Football League if they don't address his offensive line because he's running for his life every week. I know he's been he's been in the concussion protocol 2 or 3 times since he's been in the NFL. And if you're the Vikings, you just wanted something to feel good about. The Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, I don't know what they're going to do about J.J. I realized he was hurt in 2024, and they thought he could just jump into 2025. This is essentially just like Michael Penix, his rookie year. This is like his rookie year, and he's going to go through growing pains. But it's much easier to go to work. It's much easier to watch tape when you win the game. And it is the Giants. No Malik Neighbors. No Cam Scatterboo. Jackson Dart is doing the best he can with what he have. But shout out to the Vikings for getting the win.
Let's keep it moving. Again, won't be spending too much time on this game. Hard to believe that about the. I say this about the Chiefs, but 26-9 blowout by the Tennessee Titans, kind of ruining their number one pick in a way. But Jameer Dike, Gator, been fourth rookie in NFL history with at least 4 receiving touchdowns and multiple punt return touchdowns, joining Tyreek Hill, Des Bryant, and Eddie Kinnison. Big news today about the Chiefs as well. I'll let you talk about that as well for any of our listeners who may not have seen or heard that yet.
Well, DK sounds like a Pro Bowler to me. DK, that's what it sounds like. 4 receiver touchdowns, multiple punt return, something to feel good. But like I said, good players on bad teams. But shout out to DK getting it done. You know what I'm saying? Repping them Florida Gators. Yes, Kansas City, the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to say in 2031. We'll be officially going to Kansas. The biggest thing is everybody said, where is Kansas City? And these are people that don't really understand geographic locations, whatever, geography, whatever. They were in Missouri. They were in Kansas City, Missouri. The biggest thing was, the Kansas City Chiefs have now officially, they're going to be in Kansas City, Kansas. And this is a big deal for the city of Kansas because for so long, Kansas City Chiefs and the one St. Louis Rams were both in Missouri. And they was like, well, do they got 2 teams? Like they got 2 teams basically saying they got 2 teams in the state that a lot of people don't care about. That's what they were trying to say. Why are you gonna give 2 of them? Well, now the Kansas City Chiefs are going to Kansas, which means the Missouri will have 0 professional teams there. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. I'm not saying that the Kansas City. How would I compare to Kansas City? I'm just talking about for the city. How would I compare to Kansas City Chiefs going from Missouri to Kansas City, Kansas? That's like the Oakland Raiders going to Vegas. It's going. These people in Kansas City, Missouri have loved the Chiefs, and we've got to see the Chiefs peak. This ain't like the old Chiefs. So, but yeah, 2031 is going to be something. These next what?
5 to 6 years.
5 to 6 years, they're gonna be definitely cherishing. You got Patrick Mahomes. I think Travis Kelce's gone. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, that's big for the city because it's been going on for a long time, Smitty. But shout out to the city of Kansas. You get Kansas City, you get the Chiefs, and you knew. If we being honest, I think it's a way for the state of Missouri to not have to pay for another stadium. That's what this really sounds like. We don't want to pay for another stadium. Cool. We'll come on over to Kansas, and for those and I don't think it's that far away, by the way. Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri is not that far away. So, yeah, it's crazy. But shout out to the state of Kansas, I guess.
Yeah, and not that anyone is feeling sorry for the Chiefs, but on a personal level, prayers up to Gardner Minshew, also suffering a torn ACL in that game. Well, Chris Aluakon finished the game for the Chiefs, and they signed Shane Buechele off the practice squad of the Buffalo Bills today. So probably going to get the start, most likely, for the final 2 games there in Kansas City. Shane Buechele, who I believe was a Chiefs quarterback at one point, somewhere in the backup to Mahomes or Alex Smith back in the day. So that's a little bit of fact there. Another game with 2 eliminated teams, the Cincinnati Bengals 45-21 over the Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers making his first start. Joe Burrow threw 4 touchdowns, all with clean pockets. Devon Achane had a 48-yard rushing score on Sunday, his 6th career rushing touchdown with 40-plus yards, tied for the most in a player's first 3 seasons since 2000. That would be behind Chris Johnson and Adrian Peterson.
I think the thing about Quinn Ewers, you feel bad for him for a lot of reasons. By the time you actually have him to come in, it's kind of like Michael Penix a year ago. He's not playing meaningful football. No. And you're going up against the Cincinnati Bengals team that's saying, look, the Cincinnati Bengals are always playing for respect and a place in the league. Joe Burrow seems about as miserable of a football player as you ever seen. Which let you know money is not it's not the fruit of all happiness. It's not. But yeah, this was all about Cincinnati. I mean, they was out there playing with these Dolphins DBs. I mean, T. Higgins, Shamar Chase, and those guys. It was bad. The question is, do they keep Josh McDaniels? Because if they keep Josh McDaniels, they're not going to keep Tua. And if they keep Tua, they're not going to keep Josh McDaniels. I think they're going to keep Tua because I think because he was on the roster in March, I think he makes like $65 million or something next year. It's guaranteed. So I'm not going to give a person that much money to not play for me. I'm not, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Miami seems like fool's gold because they was winning ever since they had got rid of their GM. But when the bottom fell out, it fell all the way out. And just to add insult to injury, they had to let Tua know, yeah, you've been benched for the rest of the year. Okay, got it.
Let's go to the 4 o'clock games. Your Atlanta Falcons get their 6th win of the year, 26-19 over the Arizona Cardinals. Bijan Robinson doing his thing, 2,000 yards from scrimmage on Sunday. The first Falcons player to do this since Jamal Anderson in 1998. Bijan Robinson's 5,376 career scrimmage yards, third most by a player aged 23 or younger in NFL history.
Shout out to Bijan, but finding a way to be a really, really good player on a bad team. Again, Bijan seems to be the ultimate teammate. I know he had some controversy, after the Thursday night game against Tampa a couple of, not too many days ago, but they cleared that up. I mean, he was just talking about his old days. He didn't mean no harm. Kyle Pitts seemed to be loving Kirk Cousins right now. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Kyle Pitts in the offseason. I'm not saying he's not going to be a Falcon. He is going to be a Falcon. Do they franchise him or do they give him a multi-year deal that's going to be because he's coming up because the 3 guys you got to pay. You got to pay Bijan, check. Got to pay Drake London, check. And you want to play Kyle Pitts. Now, Kyle Pitts is going to be third on the totem pole, but we'll see. But, the Falcons made this a lot more interesting than it has to be. Shout out to Jacoby Brissett for still trying to find a way to make NFL checks. But the Falcons got to win. And Raheem Morris, just take the win. Stop talking trash into the camera. You're not going to the playoffs. I mean, you want to start winning, but it's too late. Don't get me started on the Falcons, man. This is a family show. Come on.
Okay, I didn't know I didn't know what you were gonna. I thought you were gonna keep going there. Don't get me started on the Falcons. Okay. The Jaguars get a huge win in Denver, 34-20 over the Denver Broncos to prove to 11-4. Broncos still 12-3. Jaguars are now 6-3 versus teams that are currently 500 or better. With Sunday's loss, the Broncos are 3-3 in such games. But both of our players of the week, Trevor Lawrence, doing his thing there in the Mountain West City.
It's all about the Jags. Everybody kept saying, what type of Jaguars team is this going to be this year? Travis Hunter has officially been shut down for the year, and you can't even tell. Travis Hunter is doing commercials while Trevor Lawrence is out there throwing for touchdowns. When Trevor Lawrence is playing like this, they could beat anybody. I'm going to say it again. Yeah. When the Jags are playing, when Trevor Lawrence is playing like this, they can beat anybody because he is delivering the football in an exceptional way. That Liam, just like I said about the Ben Johnson effect with Caleb Williams, the Liam Cohen effect on Trevor. Liam Cohen said, we will not make excuses for wins around here. And right now, Houston trying to keep, Houston trying to, they playoff hopes are dwindling because of what the Jags are doing. But shout out to the Jags. I mean, and how they're playing big time. They playing playoff football right now. Towards the end of December. So shout out to them Duval Jaguars.
The Pittsburgh Steelers win 29-24 in Detroit to get to 9-6 on the year and can clinch the division, Ben, if they beat the Cleveland Browns this coming week and knock the Ravens out of the playoffs. But Pittsburgh set a new NFL record, 22nd straight season at 500 or better. Dallas had 21. Mike Tomlin is the 11th head coach to reach 200 career wins, including the postseason.
I think the thing about this Pittsburgh team is I forget sometimes it might be the best culture in football because that's all Mike Tomlin has been since he's been there. Whether it's been Ben Roethlisberger, so you talk about the different guys that came through that since he's left. They've been trying to find a quarterback. Mason Rudolph. You can talk about Russell Wilson. And now you talk about a guy, and Aaron Rodgers who's finding a way to get. He's playing efficient. He ain't playing MVP football. He's playing efficient. I will say this about Detroit though: is Detroit hurting that bad because no Aaron Glenn, no Ben Johnson? They haven't looked like themselves. They dominated Baltimore, and people's like, oh man, haven't looked like themselves in a long time. So. we've already addressed the DK Metcalf situation. I mean, just mentioned again, DK, you got to be smart. You got to have more emotional intelligence. They got to have more patience. They got to have more awareness of that. What are you doing? Football is too precious of a sport for you to give money away. But this it's all about Pittsburgh, and they're scratching and clawing. And because the Patriots beat Baltimore, which we'll get to here in a second, it's all about Pittsburgh, and they're doing it in an efficient way. Jared Goff and company, you're saying to yourself, what could have been? Here's the thing, though, right? You want to talk about wasting somebody's opportunities? Jared Goff, 34 54, 364 yards, 3 touchdowns. I told you, what is the recipe to beat Detroit? You shut down the run game and you make it one-dimensional. Yep. Which means if Gibbs and Montgomery aren't a part of the winning, they're gonna be losing, and that's what they've been doing. So I don't want to see the box score padded stats or what. No, it is a you want to be a well-rounded, balanced offense, not a whole bunch of 50. You threw the ball 54 times. That's almost 3 games worth, depending on the quarterback. So all about Pittsburgh. They found a way to get it done. Shout out to Mike Tomlin, who all he knows is winning, and everybody's saying, well, where the Super Bowls? And you know how many people love to have a coach that's never had a losing season? In 19 years, stop playing. That's crazy. Shout out to Mike T.
Yeah. And then shout out to the Houston Texans, 23-20 win over the Las Vegas Raiders, 10-5, improving their record to that. The Texans do. Ashton Jeanty, the first rookie to have a rushing and receiving touchdown of 60-plus yards in their rookie season since Kareem Hunt in 2017. Jeanty joins Kareem Hunt, Adrian Peterson, and Ezekiel Elliott as the only player since 2000 to have a 60-plus rushing touchdown and receiving touchdown at 22 years or younger.
Ashton Jeanty gonna probably end up the season with a little bit over 1,000 yards. I mean, he showed why he went where he got drafted at. This Houston Texas team, they didn't make that. It was an ugly game, but Houston found a way to get it done. Houston out there looking like Louisville with all that red on and them fluorescent red.
Yeah.
But I think the sign of a good team was to find a way to win ugly, regardless of who the team is. The Raiders are the worst team in the National Football League, and it ain't close. It ain't the Jets. It ain't the Titans. It ain't. Listen, it ain't the Giants. It ain't the Cardinals. It is the Raiders. But the Houston is trying to have that late run to make to say, hey man, we doing our best to try to keep stay in the rear view mirror of these freaking Jaguars, and we'll see what happens these last 2 games of the year.
And then on Sunday Night Football, the New England Patriots come from behind to beat the Baltimore Ravens 28-24 to get to 12-3 on the year, crushing the Ravens' playoff hopes at 7-8. Lamar Jackson did go out of this game as well. Sounds like the injury is not too serious, according to the Ravens meeting with the media today. But Derrick Henry, 18 carries for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. He has now 25 rushing touchdowns of 20-plus yards in his career, 3rd in NFL history. Also, this was his 31st game with multiple rushing touchdowns, which is 3rd all time.
When people get to talk about who's the best running back we've seen, like in our generation, a lot of names don't come up. But a name that had to come up no matter what is Derrick Henry. He's been about as consistent of a football player as you've seen in the National Football League. That being said, Harbaugh was asked after the game after his job security. He said, I'm not, I don't think my job is in jeopardy at all. Well, he should. Not because you're not a good coach, but I think that sometimes your voice ain't as strong as it used to be. Your message ain't resonating the way it used to be. And Lamar Jackson is still an incredible talent. But I think you're looking at 2 teams going in 2 totally different directions. You're talking about Mike Vrabel, first year as a head coach of New England Patriots. Not only are they winning, they are the class of the AFC. And that's taking nothing away from Denver. That's taking nothing away, from what the Chargers are doing. That's taking nothing away from Buffalo. They are and if you are the Ravens, Smitty, going into the draft, after the draft, we were talking about how in the Ravens, they just draft well, they just do real well in free agency. But they lose games, they should win. And they do stuff like this. The Ravens are not going to make the playoffs, not because they're not a good team, it's because they didn't do the necessary things to keep Lamar Jackson healthy. They're wasting Derrick Henry, and they got too many dogs on defense for them to be out there looking like normal. So shout out to the New England Patriots for getting back to their winning ways. And if you are the Ravens, When you put your fate in the hands of another team, that being the Pittsburgh Steelers, to beat the Browns, you deserve to get what you get.
Yeah. And then we talked about the Monday Night Football as well. But the biggest news, and I want to correct something I said earlier. Chiefs did announce Gardner Minshew was placed on injury reserve, but he did avoid an ACL tear. So apologies for the premature injury on that one. So Gardner Minshew does not have a torn ACL, but he was in fact placed on injury reserve, according to the Kansas City Chiefs. So not telling exactly what it was, but he will be out for the rest of the remaining 2 games. So apologies to Gardner Minshew on that one. Thankfully, he did not tear that ACL. Talked about the Chiefs, talked about DK Metcalf and his suspension. Ben, let's talk about the standings here real quick before we get into our games to watch for next week and some other topics here as we have some additional time. AFC, Denver and New England have clinched the playoff spots. If the Colts lose in the Monday Night Football game tonight, which is currently happening as of right now, if the score were to stand, the Jaguars, the Chargers, the Bills will all clinch playoff spots, which means it'll come down to Pittsburgh and I believe the Houston Texans, I believe, need to win, I believe, against the Colts in Week 18 to wrap up that division officially. But that's essentially the AFC side. And then the NFC side, the Seahawks, the Bears, the Eagles, the Rams, and the Niners have all clinched a playoff spot, which means we obviously know the NFC South teams, Tampa or Carolina, one of those teams is going to get that 4 seed. And then Green Bay and Detroit. Green Bay is the 7th seed. Detroit is the 8th seed. This is the current scenario. Green Bay needs to Detroit needs to win out and have Green Bay lose out for the Lions to make it, whereas Green Bay just needs to beat the Ravens on Saturday to make the playoffs and punch their ticket. So the Lions, with that loss bin to Pittsburgh this week, put themselves in a very tough situation here. I do think the Lions can beat the Bears, and I do think they can beat the Vikings. But will the Packers lose to the Ravens or the Vikings? That's the question on that one there. Do you have any thoughts on the playoff standings as we get down the stretch here? Is there a team you'd like to see make it that is right here on the outside looking in? Do you like the current format of the teams that are going to be potentially making it? Your thoughts?
I do. I like the fact that we are playing meaningful football with the last 2 weeks of the season coming up. I like the fact that everybody kept saying, "What does one more game do to a season?" It can change the whole dynamic of it. Just adding another game, it can change the whole dynamic of a team's fate. Like, and the team I like the most is the Panthers. You guys, Smitty, you got to win one of 2. Now it's not going to be easy because you got Seattle and you got the Bucks. But here's the thing: Seattle is understanding that they're already in, and I don't know. I understand you want to have the best record you possibly can to get a first round bye, but you're in. That changes your dynamic as far as like who plays, how much does a person play, because you are looking. But if you are the Bucks, all the pressure is on y'all. By this time, the Bucks by this time in 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, the Bucks had already locked it up. They were just trying to see who they were going to play. I keep saying, ain't no fun when the rapper got the gun. And I just want to see, does your Panthers have staying power? Because if you haven't been somewhere in a while, you don't know how to feel. You don't know how to handle it. And for Coach Canales, no greater, and I mean this humbly, no greater FU to the Bucks if you put them out. And I would say this: you do it against the Seattle Seahawks teams, who you pick them. You respect Seattle, but they are beatable. They are not beatable, right? You beat Seattle, then it don't matter. Think about this. It don't matter. You get to take a nice trip down to Florida and say, yeah, man, let's go ahead. So I like all these scenarios. I like the fact that Houston has told Jacksonville, Oh, we come. I know y'all thought we was gone early in the season because what we weren't doing. I mean, look up, they 10-5.
Yes,
And and it, and that's what I like. I like two things. I like the fact that Denver don't have to prove it because here come the Chargers. I like the fact that Jacksonville gonna have to prove it because here comes Houston. And I like the fact that the Bucks are nervous. Nervous football players make for bad football games. And if you are right now, the one thing y'all had to do is beat them to put the pressure back on the Bucks, and y'all did. So I love these playoff scenarios. I love the fact that these last 2 weeks are going to be very exciting. And on the week 17.
For the Panthers, though, however, if they beat Seattle, they are not in. They are only in if the Bucks were then to lose to the Dolphins also next week.
So,
If that happens,
you're saying you're a Quinn Ewers fan on Sunday.
Panthers will be Quinn Ewers fans on Sunday. That is correct. If the Panthers lose to Seattle, even if the Bucks were to beat the Dolphins, it don't matter. It would come down to the Week 18 game in Tampa.
So the brawl for it all, week 18. Okay.
Yeah, basically, the only way the Panthers can get in and have that Week 18 game not matter is if they beat Seattle and then Tampa Bay falls to Miami. That's the only way.
I mean, hold on. Can you handle that? Can you handle that? Like with everything you've been through this season. Or, no, this is a better question.
I selfishly want the Panthers to win both games. And at the same time, if it comes down to Week 18, it is what it is. I'm not expecting the Bucks to lose next week. I'm just going to be flat out honest.
Here's the thing, though, Smitty. Okay. It's probably going to come down to Week 18 no matter what. It's probably going to come down to that type of scenario. Panthers beat the Buccaneers. They clinched the division. Are you ready to put away everything that hasn't happened in previous seasons under Bryce Young to say, okay, I'm going to just start looking at 2025 moving forward? Or do you go, yeah, they did it, but is it going to be hard to put away the previous seasons because of what he didn't have? Or can you start fresh from 2025? Does Steve Smith Sr. have to eat his words for the Panthers fans if they do indeed win the division?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think a lot of Panther fans will definitely feel like it's kind of starting fresh because, like you said, they haven't made the playoffs since 2017. It's been 8 years. The Panther fans that I know are just right now we're no longer in the hunt. We are winning the division at this current moment. So Panthers fans just love to see us in the hunt little graphic up there, when they show that in prime time with the teams that are in the hunt or the teams that are currently winning the division. So Panthers at this time have always been eliminated, and they've never been in that graphic up there. And so it's just nice to be relevant, playing relevant games in December. I think that's what a lot of Panther fans, would say. As a whole. Well, let's get into our top, 5 games to watch for Week 17, starting on Christmas Day. 3 games on Christmas Day. We've got 2 on Saturday, and then a bunch on Sunday, and then obviously the Monday game. So let's get into it. Top 5 games to watch here on Week 17, the penultimate week of the NFL season. My number 5 on this list, the only game that I will be saying on Christmas Day that I think is relevant of watching, and that is the Lions versus the Vikings. The Lions need this game and need Green Bay to lose to the Ravens to keep their playoff hopes alive. I think the Lions are going to put up a lot of points on this Vikings team. You're going to see a lot of points there in Minnesota. My number 4, Texans-Chargers, Saturday afternoon matinee. There in SoFi Stadium. C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert. This could be a wild card matchup in about 2 weeks' time. They're on the Saturday evening game, or the first playoff game, if you will. They like to do the AFC South like that. Of course, the NFC South could be that way too. But anyway, that's my number 4, Texans versus the Chargers. Going now to Sunday. My number 3 on this list, Give me Seahawks Panthers. Panthers going to try and win 2 in a row for the first time since week 7. They've started this whole WL streak since week 7, trying to win 2 in a row for the first time in a while. Then versus that Seattle team who has got the 10 days rest, but they got to come to Charlotte. Panthers knocked out Matthew Stafford last time that West Coast team came east to Carolina earlier this season. Unlike the Rams game, though, this game is going to be bright and sunny. There will be not any weather to affect that game. My number 2 on this list. Give me Eagles Bills 425 there in Orchard Park. Bills obviously are chasing pace with the New England Patriots. Eagles have already clinched the division, but both teams looking to stay relevant into the playoffs and keep their foot on the pedal. And then my number 1 is the Sunday Night Football matchup between the Bears and the 49ers. Absolute outstanding game on Sunday Night Football and a very key game for both teams. Assuming the 49ers win on Monday Night Football, they'll be 11-4 with the Bears in this game, and both teams need this game and in a lot of worst ways. And then my toilet bowl, I had a lot of choices here, Ben, but
it's only one.
Has got to be the toilet bowl.
I'm about to say it's only one. Good God.
Giants Raiders. For those of you who have to watch that game, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get my toilet bowl out. My toilet bowl is your New York Football Giants at the Las Vegas Raiders. That is going to be hard to watch. But my number 5 is Philly Buffalo. I think you got two teams that's already Philly has already clinched their division. Buffalo still needs to clinch theirs. When you talk about what splitting with New England, I think it's going to be a really, really good game because I don't think Philly is taking any team for granted because I don't know if Philly's going to have the best record in the NFC to get a first round bye. They're probably going to have to play opening weekend. So Philly Buffalo is going to be really, really good. My number 4, Houston Chargers. You got a Chargers team that's chasing the two teams that are both chasing the best team in their division or the better team in their division. Chargers are chasing Denver. Obviously, Houston is chasing Jacksonville. I think it's going to be Herbert versus C.J. Stroud. I think it's going to be a really, really good matchup. My number 3, Chicago, San Francisco, as you mentioned. San Francisco was quoted having the easiest schedule in the National Football League. I don't know if there are easy schedules in the National Football League. In Chicago, it's proven to be the class of the NFC North. Should be a great game between Mr. Irrelevant. You got Mr. Irrelevant going up against the number 1 overall pick and Caleb Williams. It should be a really, really good game. My number 2, Jacksonville, Indy. Look, Indy. I don't know if Indy's gonna make the playoffs, but Indy can say, look, if we ain't going, we're gonna disrupt y'all season 2. Trevor Lawrence. And they're gonna be in the dome. It should be a really, really good game. I think it's gonna be one of those games that, hopefully, Indy can put their best foot forward because Jacksonville is firing on all cylinders. Trevor Lawrence ain't threw a pick in a long time, but he's doing a lot of touchdown passes. My number 1, it is Seattle, Carolina. It has to be. Carolina hasn't been in this situation in a long time. Bryce Young is proven to be more than worth because everybody kept saying who has been the better quarterback since they got drafted 3 years ago between him and C.J. Stroud, right? I think C.J. Stroud went to an easier situation, not a better, an easier situation in the AFC South with Indy finally coming to the party this year. You look at in Jacksonville and Indy and the Titans are the Titans. Every week, it's a different test for A1 Bryce Young and Coach Canales. Why? Because Coach Canales calls the plays, and if there's ever a game to be aggressive, it is this one, Coach Canales. I know we say this every week, but it's the same scenario. Leonard Williams and Ernest Jones and that defense, they come. But guess what? Terry McMillan and Coker and those guys, they up for the challenge. Now, Dowdle and Trevor, they're gonna have to run the rock. You can't be one-dimensional against the Seattle Seahawks defense. But I think, Smitty, like you said, you want to see your Panthers win both games for 2 reasons. 1, you clinch the division, but 2, it leaves no doubt. We just beat the Seattle Seahawks team. I don't care if they clinch. They still want to play some quality football. They're still a really, really good football team. So I got them being. So Carolina, Seattle, my number 1. Jacksonville, Indy is my number 2. Chicago, San Francisco, my number 3. Houston Chargers is my number 4. Philly at Buffalo is my number 5. And my toilet bowl game is the New York Football Giants versus the Las Vegas Raiders. My goodness.
Yeah, my goodness is right. Just yeah, that's gonna be hard to watch. Do you have any thoughts on we've gone through the standings, the conference. Um, let me throw a couple of things to your purview. Again, this is a kind of similar to kind of an overreaction, not an overreaction type of deal. Let me throw a couple of quick ones to you. That I just kind of thought of here as you were going through your games and we were going through the standings and stuff. Trevor Lawrence is playing like finally earning his money. He's playing like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. And are the Jags Super Bowl contenders?
Yes. And Smitty, they're a Super Bowl contender for this reason. The quarterback, okay, you need certain things. I need a quarterback that's playing at a high level. Check. I need a defense that can put pressure on opposing offenses. Check. And I need a team that is balanced. Parker Washington it makes the team balanced because we talk about what he is as a receiver, but he also is really, really good in the return game, right? I think the thing about this Jaguars team is they're building confidence. The same way the C.J. Stroud and company has built confidence his first 2 years because they won the division is what the Jaguars are doing right now. So are they a Super Bowl contender? Absolutely, because everybody was talking about Denver. They just went on the road and got a big win against them. So, yes, I think they are a contender right now. Yes, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are very much a contender in the AFC. Yes.
The Bears, are they going to win the NFC? Are they this team of destiny?
I don't want to call them a team of destiny because you got to prove to me you can beat Philly. I don't care. I don't care who you are in the NFC.
They already did that.
They did. but what's the hard thing? But what's the hardest thing to do, Smitty? You got to beat me twice, and you got to beat me when it counts. You don't believe me? What? Not to get into it, but why did Oklahoma they beat Alabama? Nope, they lost to Alabama. They gave Alabama gave up 17 points. I'm telling you, Philly is built for the postseason. Chicago is hoping to get to the postseason, which they will. So yeah, I mean, I think Chicago is the most dangerous team in the NFC because no one saw them being this head of schedule in year 1 under Ben Johnson and year 2 with Caleb Williams. So are they the most dangerous team? Yes. Are they the scariest team in the NFC? No. I think the scariest team in the NFC are the Seahawks. I think they're the scariest team in the NFC because of how they play. But I think a team that nobody really wants to play in the playoffs because they have nothing to lose are your Carolina Panthers. Y'all get in. Y'all gonna, no matter who it is, y'all gonna have a team possibly with a better record coming to Carolina. So that
it will be a team with a better record, yes. And
well, that's why I think wins allowed to the National Football League are overrated. I need to win enough games. I need to win enough games to win my conference. I mean, win my division. I'm good. I don't care. I don't care if we're 12-5 or 11-6. Who cares? And you're a wild card. So I think, like I said, I still think a team that nobody wants to play is your Carolina Panthers because you don't know what to expect from them because you haven't seen them there in a while, just like Chicago.
Yeah. Let's talk about 2 non-playoff teams here for just a second, but 2 high-profile teams. Kansas City Chiefs. There's this guy named Joe Flacco who will probably be available. Do you feel like someone like Joe Flacco should be signed by the Chiefs until Mahomes is fully healthy? Let's get Mahomes completely back. If he's not ready for Week 1 by a millimeter, Andy Reid, don't chance it. Sign somebody like a Joe Flacco, get you a couple wins under your belt, to start the year, and then bring Mahomes back very slowly.
If he wasn't 40 years old, I would say yes. But he's 40 years old. He's going to be 41 years old when the 2026 season kicks off sometime during it. I think that the 40-year-old quarterback, that being Phillip Rivers, that being Aaron Rodgers, you talk about Joe Flacco. No, because I want a guy that's good enough to keep us on the track. Not a guy that's going to do the things we coach him to do. So I think a Mac Jones might be in play. We talk about guys around the league that you could probably go looking at. Because the thing about Kansas City, they don't want to go. They don't want to just have somebody that can fill in. So they want to have somebody that can win. You look at what Denver's doing. You look at what the Chargers are doing. And so yeah, I think they're gonna get a young, maybe like a Trey Lance. I mean, would he be available? Somebody
Yeah,
like that. I don't
I
want
think
to.
he
I
might
don't
be.
want to.
Yeah,
Yeah, can't get a guy. I can't get a guy Joe Flacco who every time he gets hit, look at how long it takes him to get off the ground. But
that's
look
fair.
at it. So
That's fair.
yeah,
That's fair.
they're gonna have to get somebody. They're definitely gonna have to get somebody, but it will not be. Hey, Cam, you available, Cam? Kansas City ain't calling you. That's crazy. That's crazy. Cam, so
All right, last one. Joe Burrow. They're talking about this thing being overhyped. I believe it was his birthday the other Sunday when they lost, and so he was very, he was very testy, and he, very emotional. He wants to win, and he cares about winning, and he cares about football, and cares about having fun. Rehab's obviously not as much fun as playing, out there on Sundays. Okay, here's how I'm going to say this. I think that Joe Burrow will be on the Bengals in 2026. I will say that. But I do think there's a chance if crap hits the fan shortly after the 2026 season starts and things have a sign of going backwards, let's say after the first month of the season, month and a half, I could see Joe Burrow pulling a Carson Palmer and saying, it's time. Get me out of here. I need to go salvage my career elsewhere.
I can see something like that happen. The problem is that they ain't gonna let it go. They can be like, "How you can all you want? You gonna say right here? You really think we're gonna let you go? Nope." Here's the thing about Joe Burrow. And I'm gonna say this: Joe Burrow was an incredible talent coming out of LSU. I think Joe Burrow is an incredible talent in the National Football League. You play for the Bengals, like you play for the Bengals, and sometimes, Smitty, we forget it's the Bengals because of Joe Burrow. No,
Right.
no. It is the Bengals. The Bengals and the Browns aren't that much different. Now the Browns are the Browns. The difference in the Bengals and the Browns is the Bengals drafted Joe Burrow. That's it. If the Browns would have, that's the 1 year that the Browns decided they didn't want to be the number one overall pick, and it was Cincinnati. So I feel for Joe Burrow, but that the front office is going to have to decide that they want to get us some help on the offensive line. They want to get us some help on the defense because they already got guys on the offense. So if they don't want to address the needs of the Bengals, it's going to be much. It's going 2026 will become 2025 really, really quickly because it'll be deja vu. So the Bengals are going to have to take better care of their franchise quarterback because he do be looking miserable in these post game press conferences. Jamar Chase saying, "Look, I need to do a better job of encouraging him, going by his house." Like it's bad, but it is the Bengals. Sorry, Chad Ochocinco. Sorry, TJ Hushmanzada and all these Carson Palmer, these former Cincinnati Bengals. Y'all are the Bengals. Let's stop playing. Let's stop trying to act like this great tradition. Y'all, one of y'all best quarterbacks of all time name is Boomer Esiason. Let's stop it.
Well, it has been episode 81 of the Winning the Division podcast, week 16 of the NFL, about to be in the books, going to week 17 here, 2 weeks left in the regular season. Bunch of teams ready to win their division, and there's teams at the bottom of their division like the Raiders, like the Jets, like the Titans, like the Cardinals, who are far from winning their division. Vid, is there anything you want to talk about before we sign off here on this 81st episode of Winning the Division?
No, Smith. I mean, it seems like the season just started, and we are already coming to an end, getting ready to start with these playoffs. I hope it is my sincere hope that your Panthers do the right thing and go out there and win these last two games. Because if it's not that I can root for the Panthers, but I'm not that I can root for them, but I don't necessarily got to root against them. One of my son's favorite teams and players is Bryce Young, and he was like, "Bryce Young didn't win." I said, "Yeah, I saw. Were you at the game, Smitty?"
I was.
So the good luck charm was in the building. So but no, man, I've enjoyed this season, man. DK Metcalf, calm down. Just go see your therapist.
45 million, also, by the way, 45 million. Yeah, there was that. I'll just throw it in there because you just talked about my Panthers. I'll throw it in there right now, just before we end. Who do you think For the Panther fans listening out there, who do you think is their if they get in? Who do you think is their best matchup? Best chance to win a playoff game?
Wow.
So that would be like they're not going to play Philly. They're not going to play Green Bay or Detroit. They'll be the 7th seed. It's going to be someone like a Chicago, and they probably wouldn't play Chicago if Chicago won the division. So it'd be someone like Rams, Niners, or Rams, Seahawks, or Niners, Seahawks. One of those 3 NFC West teams, most
Rams. I think y'all can beat the Rams. Okay. Because what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you why.
So wait, you think that's the best matchup, or do you think that's the best team to face?
I think it's the best matchup for y'all because when I look at the team top to bottom, J.C. Horn, Puka Nacua. You talking about unleash Derek Brown, make life really, really hard on a guy like Matthew Stafford. And I would say for Coach Canales, look, Ted McMillan, he's played a whole year. You can take he's a rookie, but not the way he's played, right? I think it's a good matchup because whoever y'all play, they got to come to y'all.
Correct.
That bodes well for y'all. So I would go Seattle 1. No, I'm sorry, the Rams 1. I don't like San Francisco as a good matchup for y'all because it's George Kittle. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, sweetie. If y'all do get San Francisco, right, are you gonna wear a Christian McCaffrey jersey?
TBD, man. TBD. No, probably not. Probably gonna wear my jersey.
Because what I would love is you walk into the stadium and somebody goes, winning the division. You Ryan Smith, right? Yeah, you got on a Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah. Probably a J.C. Horn jersey, which is my current rep right now. So. Well, for Ben Troupe, I'm Ryan Smith. This has been the 81st episode of Winning the Division. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Keep Pounding Podcast Network, Fans First Sports Network, Tobacco Road Sports Radio, YouTube.com. And we will see you guys next time here on Winning the Division.